What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Sunday, January 5th, 2025, and I have an emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 23:21 Eastern Time here in the United States, and we have some major breaking news coming in from China. So, schools in Wuhan, China have been closed after a sharp rise in infections caused by the human metapneumovirus, or HMPV. The outbreak has sparked concerns as cases soar, prompting increased vigilance and health measures in the region. A new viral outbreak, the human metapneumovirus, has raised alarm in China, with infections spreading rapidly in several regions. The virus, primarily affecting the respiratory system, has caused a surge in cases, leading to the closure of schools in Wuhan, where over 30 children have fallen ill. The World Health Organization has expressed concern over the growing number of cases and has sought detailed information from China to better understand the virus. The number of confirmed cases of HMPV has skyrocketed by 529% in just the past 10 days, with hospitals across the country seeing an overwhelming number of patients seeking treatment. The virus is causing significant concern due to its ability to affect both young children and the elderly more severely. Symptoms of the virus include a runny nose, sore throat, fever, cough, fatigue, and headache, which are typical of respiratory infections. In Wuhan, where the virus has spread rapidly, over 30 children fell ill, prompting local authorities to shut down schools in the area. The closures were a precautionary measure to curb further transmission and protect public health. The surge in cases has created panic among the public, especially with winter conditions exacerbating respiratory diseases. The World Health Organization has urged China to provide more detailed information about the virus and the situation on the ground. The WHO emphasized the importance of conducting further research and investigation into HMPV, as it may pose a significant threat to public health, particularly in densely populated regions. Despite the escalating cases, the Chinese government has sought to calm the public, stating that there is no need to panic. Authorities have assured citizens that the situation is under control, although caution is advised due to the increase in respiratory illnesses during the winter season. Health officials have been urging the public to adhere to preventative guidelines to reduce the risk of infection. Given the growing threat of HMPV in China, neighboring India has ramped up its vigilance. The Union Health Department held a meeting to assess the situation and discuss the necessary measures to prevent the virus from entering India. Authorities have also increased screening procedures for travelers coming from China and other affected areas to monitor and control the spread of the virus. HMPV primarily affects the respiratory system and can impact individuals of all ages. However, young children, the elderly, and individuals with weakened immune systems are at greater risk. The virus is known to spread through respiratory droplets when an infected person coughs or sneezes. Wow, so this is very, very concerning, guys. We're on the 5-year anniversary of COVID, and now we have this HMPV spreading in Wuhan. Okay, it looks like that biolab in Wuhan is churning up some new viruses to release on the world. Absolutely insane, and all of this happening on the 5-year anniversary of COVID. Now, the Chinese New Year is starting in the coming weeks, and if you remember, when COVID happened, there was the Chinese New Year, and that caused the virus to spread all over the world because the Chinese people travel everywhere. Okay, so this is very, very concerning. And we're hearing that the first cases of the Chinese HMPV virus have now been reported in Hong Kong. And we also have some very serious news coming out of Iran. The Israeli military is on high alert due to unusual movements of missile forces in western Iran. Absolutely insane. And today we've had a lot of U.S. nuclear forces activity, lots of emergency action messages transmitted. I've been listening to them in the live stream today. And this update was sponsored by EMP Shield. Guys, EMP Shield has created a special discount just for you, the listeners of the NYPrepper channel. If you go to EMPShield.com and use the promo code NYPrepper, you can get 15% off your entire order. And why do you need an EMP Shield? Well, this is a special device to protect your vehicle, your RV, your solar generators, your radios from an electromagnetic pulse, which could be caused by a solar flare or potentially a rogue country like North Korea detonating an electromagnetic pulse weapon over the United States that's mounted onto a satellite. So protect your vehicles, protect your RV, protect your radios, protect your generators with an EMP Shield. Use my promo code NYPrepper to get 15% off. Installation is super simple. This is a veteran-owned business, 100% American-made, and the EMP Shields have been tested by the military, okay? And free shipping is included to the entire continental United States. And the link and the promo code are in the description below this video. And China damaged an undersea cable connecting Taiwan to South Korea. Taiwan is now asking South Korea to help them in investigating the situation. And I want to update you guys on the Shawn Ryan podcast. Everybody's been talking about that over the past few days. So it looks like I was right when I said yesterday that it was all BS, okay? And there were all kinds of nasty people posting comments, really nasty comments under my video yesterday, saying I was a bad person, that I'm criticizing Shawn Ryan, who's, a patriot and a veteran. It has nothing to do with him being a veteran, okay? If you're wrong, you're wrong, okay? And he had a guy on his show who was full of crap, okay? Anybody can make up an email like that and say all kinds of crazy stuff and send it to somebody, okay? So now the guy who was on the Shawn Ryan show is walking back everything that he said on the show and is basically saying that it's possible that the email was bogus, okay? And here you can see the Jameson Travels channel. Check him out. He's almost at 1 million subscribers, okay? There were some nasty people in the comments under my last video saying that all these prominent YouTubers I was mentioning had small accounts. Well, here's a prominent YouTuber, okay? Jameson's Travels, okay? He's very well respected. He's a veteran, and he's calling this BS as well, okay? So if you're going to be nasty, please go somewhere else. I'm going to delete you and block you, okay? And most of all, get a life, okay? If you can't handle different opinions, you need to grow up. And here in the U.S., we have a major winter storm affecting about a dozen states in the Midwest and the Mid-Atlantic. We have multiple states under a state of emergency. So Arkansas, Kansas, Kentucky, Missouri, Virginia, West Virginia, and part of New Jersey are under a state of emergency, okay? So you can see all these areas here shaded in pink are winter storm warnings. You can see most of Missouri, most of Illinois, most of Indiana, southern Ohio, pretty much all of Kentucky, all of West Virginia, pretty much all of Virginia, southern Pennsylvania, all of Maryland, all of Delaware, and southern New Jersey under winter storm warnings. Several inches of snow are expected, as well as heavy icing, particularly in Kentucky. And we're hearing that the DC area could get as much as a foot of snow, which would be the most amount of snow that DC has gotten probably since the Obama years. If you remember, there was Snowmageddon back when Obama was president. It looks like we're having a Snowmageddon 2.0 for the DC area, but I'm going to be covering this storm live tomorrow throughout the day. We're going to be monitoring everything in the DC area because a lot of these places where the storm is hitting are not used to extreme snow. Okay, we saw a couple of years ago when Richmond, Virginia had a bunch of snow and there were all kinds of accidents and people freezing to death in their cars because they got stranded on I-95. Okay, so I'm going to be monitoring the situation and updating you guys accordingly, but just get prepared. Make sure you have warm clothing in your home. Warm clothing is the number one most important thing. After that, you got to think about some kind of a heat source like a buddy heater or a diesel heater or some kind of a portable wood stove that you can set up in your apartment. Okay, you can run the flue outside of a window. You can get a camping wood stove, okay, like for backpacking, for very cheap, and they're also very lightweight, and you can set it up in your apartment if you have to and just run the flue outside of your window. It may not be 100% what your landlord likes, but at least you won't freeze to death, okay? And Justin Trudeau is expected to announce his resignation as Prime Minister of Canada by Wednesday before the Liberal Party caucus. He is currently the Liberal Party leader. This is going to trigger a snap election, so it's very possible that Canada could have a conservative prime minister. We'll have to wait and see, but I think a lot of Canadians are sick of the extreme policies of the Trudeau government, including during COVID when they basically shut down the entire country and turned into North Korea. And according to Bloomberg, Trump is going to grant pardons and clemency to thousands of people who were involved in January 6th. And North Korea just fired an unidentified ballistic missile into the Sea of Japan, according to South Korea's Yonhap News, citing the South Korean chiefs of staff. And wasn't I right yet again? Okay, over the last couple of days, I was showing you the Cobra Ball planes that were flying from Okinawa up to the Sea of Japan every single day for the past week. And I was telling you guys that this means that either North Korea or China is going to conduct some kind of a missile test. They always do it every holiday season, every new year. They always start the year off with some kind of a missile test, okay? So I was right yet again. And the Ukrainian army has launched a new offensive in Russia's Kursk region. According to Vladimir Novikov, a pro-Russian militia leader, apparently the Ukrainians have moved to the town of Berdin and are trying to encircle Tetkino and are moving in the direction of Bolshoye Soldatskaya. Okay, so the Ukrainians have started some kind of a new offensive in Kursk. And according to NBC News, federal investigators are examining the New Orleans attack, and they say that Jabbar, the attacker, used a very rare explosive compound in the two devices. Authorities are investigating how Jabbar acquired the knowledge to create this homemade explosive. The explosive has never been used in a U.S. terror attack or incident, nor in any European terror attack. A key question for investigators is how Jabbar learned about the compound and how he managed to produce it. So that is pretty weird, okay? Never, ever used in the U.S. and in Europe in any terror attack, this explosive compound. Very interesting. And South Korea's public prosecution office has ordered the police to arrest the former president Yoon Suk-yeol again before his arrest warrant expires in 15 hours. So this is very serious, guys. There could be a civil war in South Korea, and we're hearing that this prosecution office in South Korea is actually run by pro-Chinese forces. Basically, the Chinese have infiltrated the South Korean government, and they're trying to arrest the former president who is pro-US. Okay, so they're basically doing what Russia did in Ukraine. China is doing the same tricks in South Korea that Russia did in Ukraine in the years prior to taking Crimea. This is very, very concerning. And the last time they tried to arrest the president, his personal bodyguards and a military unit prevented the police from arresting him. And Chinese hackers linked to China's intelligence infiltrated U.S. ports, power grids, and telecom networks for years. They gained the ability to disrupt critical infrastructure and access sensitive data from over 1 million users, including top government officials. Key targets included telecom giants AT&T and Verizon, with hackers breaching wiretap systems and collecting call data tied to figures like Trump, J.D. Vance, and Kamala Harris. The hacks exploited aging equipment and weak cybersecurity protocols. Experts warn this positions China for potential future conflict, including over Taiwan, with U.S. systems as a battlefield. So, guys, what they're going to do is they're going to shut down our infrastructure when they go after Taiwan. Okay, they're going to take down our power grid. They're going to take down our communications, our internet, our phones, everything. Okay, they have a kill switch that they're going to flip, and everything is going to be turned off here, and they're going to cause all kinds of chaos. Okay, and don't forget that a lot of our electronics are made in China, and who knows if they don't have some kind of secret backdoor or some kind of secret chip in them, kind of like how Israel had those chips in the phones that they sold to Hezbollah, and then at some point they overheated and exploded those phones. Maybe China has stuff like that. Who knows? Okay, maybe it's in our computers, our phones. And since the U.S. election, China has hacked the U.S. Treasury Department, conducted the largest naval drills in decades, launched the world's biggest amphibious warship, and were involved in cutting undersea cables in Asia and Europe. They've unveiled new advanced aircraft, including stealth bombers, and they've practiced a naval blockade near Japan and Taiwan for the first time, and possibly also sent dozens of drones to fly over military and infrastructure sites here in the U.S. last month. So China is making big moves, guys. And here we have a picture of what appears to be the last Russian sub departing Syria. So there's now going to be 0 Russian subs and 0 Russian warships in Syria. So looks like it was probably going towards Libya based on what I'm reading. Okay, so Russia has basically moved all their naval assets to Libya from Syria. And this falls in line with Bible prophecy in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 38 and 39. The Gog Alliance tries to attack Israel, and one of the big members of the Gog Alliance, besides Russia, is Libya. Okay, so now Russia is moving all their equipment to Libya. This is biblical, guys. And Russia's security service, the FSB, said on Saturday that it had thwarted a large terror attack in the Ural Mountains in the city of Yekaterinburg and detained 4 teenagers who had been planning to detonate a bomb in a crowded area. The FSB said it had seized components for a homemade explosive device and that investigators in the Sverdlovsk region had opened a criminal case, according to Reuters. Okay, so guys, I want to remind you that before Putin went into Chechnya, when Putin took over from Yeltsin and he sent the Russian army into Chechnya, There was this apartment bombing in Chechnya where a bunch of Russian citizens were allegedly killed and injured by Chechen terrorists who had planted bombs in this apartment building. There's a lot of information that points to that being a false flag, that basically the Russian KGB, or FSB as it's known now, basically planted those bombs to give Putin a reason or a justification to go full force into Chechnya and to get support from the Russian people. And now the KGB is saying that they thwarted some kind of an attack in Yekaterinburg. So we have to keep an eye on that. But that's the latest breaking news that I have. I will be back tomorrow with more breaking news. Check out my 24/7 live stream so you can monitor things in real time. I will be monitoring the winter storm tomorrow in the live stream, so tune in tomorrow for that. And if anything crazy happens, I will cover it live. I'm still expecting to see Putin use his Oreshniks again. They've closed down the airspace over Kapustin Yar from January 13th to January 18th. So potentially the week before Trump gets inaugurated, Putin could launch a massive strike on Ukraine with the Oreshniks, okay? Potentially even nuclear. But that's it for now, guys. Take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere. Culinary out. And this update was sponsored by NYPrepper Supply. Guys, NYPrepper Supply is doing a massive sale on their 3-month emergency food supply. And to get the deal, you got to go to preparewithnyprepper.com, and the link is in the description below this video. They're selling their 3-month emergency food supply for just $600. So that's $100 off the normal price. And this is 3 months of food at 2,000 calories per day. Has a shelf life of up to 25 years. And all of this is packed into 6 rugged water-resistant buckets. And free shipping is included. And they're also offering a disaster replacement warranty. So if your food supply gets destroyed by a natural disaster, they'll replace it for you with no charge. And they also will provide you with free survival books and information, including a natural disaster field guide, a survival Bible digital copy. So use the link preparewithnyprepper.com to get $100 off the NYPrepper Supply 3-month emergency food supply, and the link is in the description below this video.